All right.
Hello.
Well, here. Hey, everybody. Danny, they're starting to join.
I see. Fantastic. Well, we'll give this about a minute here for people to get into the webinar, and then we'll start going. All right. Hello, Missy from New Jersey. If you're using the chat, we'd love it if you use all panelists and attendees so we can all see what you're saying. Fantastic. Woohoo. There we go. Now we're coming in. Awesome, awesome. West Virginia, Texas. Ooh, some Illinois folks. Great. Good stuff. All right, well, thank you everyone for joining. We're gonna get started right on time here today. We have a lot to cover and we're really excited to talk about fundraisers. It's been a hot topic lately. So welcome, and as we dive into our content today, I wanted to share a couple things. This webinar will be available on replay. I'm gonna say that a couple times throughout here since people joined at different points. And it will be available the next day, and anyone who registered will get an email sent via Zoom. It's also going to be in the STIR. So look for that by Friday latest. And then Kylie, are we able to add those resources to the file section?
We'll be adding those in just a second.
Great. So if you check out the file section of this webinar, we are sharing a US and Canada resource for you to keep and use to your advantage. Since we are covering so much detail today, this is a little takeaway to help you use fundraisers moving forward. So refer to those when you see the charts that we'll go over. All right. Kylie, are you able to switch to the next slide?
Yes, sorry.
It's okay. All right, so speaking of tech, here's some housekeeping here with Zoom. Please use the chat function, which everyone's using really well already, to interact with everyone. Select all panelists and attendees so that we can all see what you have to say and help each other out. And then also use the Q&A section. That's where we have Libby and Jackie today helping answer many of our questions here. So you've seen Jackie the last few weeks. Kylie and Danny and I'm Danny, Libby and I have been on the Q&A, so we're switching things up this week. Kylie, can you switch to the next slide? Thank you.
I'm sorry, are you seeing my, all right, very good.
Nope, go back up.
Are you, Danny, are you waiting? Okay, are you seeing it now?
Wait, Kylie, before you start, there's a lot of questions in the Q&A already about where the files are. Can you please just share that?
You know, I am trying to share them and it's blocking me. So we'll go ahead and we'll try again. If we can't get them during, it worked when we did our trial run through, but unfortunately they're not attaching now. So if we're not able to share them during the webinar today, they will be posted in the STIR article tomorrow as well. So don't worry, if you're not able to get your hands on them today, they will be available by tomorrow as well.
Yep, and the information in those resources, they're going to be covered in this webinar. So it's literally a PDF of a couple slides from this webinar, so we will cover it today. But thank you, Kylie. Okay, so getting started. My name is Danny Hubner, and I am on the field success team with Kylie and Jackie and Libby. I've been with Pampered Chef for 2 years now, and I just switched over to this team from the marketing team. So I'm really excited to be here with you today. And Kylie?
Hi, I'm Kylie Wiltshire. I'm also on the field success team, and my focus is on consultant business tools. So I really work with the things in your back office, like how to set up parties and marketing imagery and things like that. Happy to be with you today.
Great. All right, so we're
sorry, I'm having hold on just one moment here. My slides are having a little bit of an issue, so it might pause for just a second, but it'll come back online if it does pause for just a moment. Sorry about that. So go ahead and go, Danny, and we'll.
Great. All right, while Kylie's working on that, I'm going to share our agenda today. So we are going to go through the types of fundraisers and what's new with fundraisers this month, how fundraiser parties differ from non-fundraiser parties, how to set up fundraisers and consulted tools, how to kickstart your virtual business with fundraisers, and getting guests excited to support the cause. And since we have so much to cover today, we're going to try our best to get to a live Q&A at the end. But again, Libby and Jackie are going to be manning the Q&A section throughout the webinar. All right. So moving on to types of fundraisers and what's new this month. With the unusual times we're in right now, I think it's important for us to take a moment to think about the ways that we can and that we are making a difference, how we make an impact through our businesses, and how we can use fundraisers to connect with others and give back to the communities that need help. We've learned over the past couple of weeks since we've launched the increase of donations on the Roundup from the Heart program that fundraisers are really helping consultants jumpstart their businesses, whether you're brand new or if you're new to the virtual space, or you just need to add some variety to the type of party options you have available. So that being said, we also know that you still have some questions about how fundraisers work for you and your hosts, and what kind of organizations that we partner with. So we're going to take a step back and address a lot of the common questions we've seen come through and just start with the basics. So what is a fundraiser party? Pampered Chef fundraiser parties give a percentage of party sales to raise money for a qualifying project or organization, or to our partner organizations. We have 3 types of fundraisers. The first type is through an organization of your choice or your host choice. And then the other 2 are through our partner organizations. And that's under the Roundup from the Heart program, the Help with Cancer program, and our Hope Lodge program. I'm going to go through these options, and remember that for any of them, you can work with a host or you can be a host yourself. And no matter what type of fundraiser you choose to hold, 100% of the donations are going to be made from Pampered Chef. So again, this may seem like a lot of information to digest, but by no means do you need to memorize it all. Everything we're going to cover is in Consultants Corner under the Explore section. And from there, you scroll down to charitable programs and you select the one you want to read more about. We also have a new task in Dash, as about 2 weeks ago it's been in there, that shares more about our organizational fundraisers and how to's for booking and setting up, which Kylie's going to dive into deeper for us. And please know that the booking and holding fundraisers task is only available once you've completed either virtual or in-person party training. And again, you will be sent a replay of this webinar, so you can refer back to this webinar as well. So organizational fundraisers, what are those and how do they work? An organizational fundraiser is where your host or you as a host choose a qualifying organization, program, or project to dedicate a portion of the party sales to. This is a great option to support organizations that are near and dear to your host. You can also get hyper-local, such as a Kids Scouts troop or a mission trip fund. For an organization to qualify to receive donations, they must be classified as a 501c3 organization for the IRS in the US. And it's really helpful to have their EIN, which is their employer identification number, when you set up in party tools, when you set up the party in your consulted tools. And we'll show you how to do that later. And in Canada, the organizations just need to be a registered charity or a nonprofit, and they don't need an EIN. When parties are closed and submitted, checks are cut for these organizations and mailed to them directly. It's really important that you gather as much information up front so that the organization can receive their donation in a timely manner. If you have incorrect information, it can delay the payout, so double check that before you close out the party. Organizational fundraisers can be run at any time of the year, so it's a great option to have in your back pocket. It's a great booking tool. And parties must qualify by being over $200 so that donations can be paid out. So with these fundraisers, parties that are between $200 and $599 US, 10% will be donated, and then anything over $600, 15% of those party sales will be donated. And then if you get bookings from your fundraisers, $3 additional will be donated. So Pampered Chef also has 2 programs and partners. There's the Feeding America or Food Banks Canada, which is under our Roundup from the Heart program, and the American Cancer Society Hope Lodge, and the Breast Cancer Society of Canada under Help with Cancer. Roundup from the Heart is a really great program that supports food banks across the US and Canada through the Feeding America and Food Banks Canada networks. Our mission is to bring families and friends together for mealtime, and that fits hand in hand with these organizations that help provide meals to people in need. One of the most common questions we've heard about this program that I want to address is, how do the funds raised work? In the US, for every $1 donated, 10 meals are provided to those in need. And that's really incredible if you think about how many lives we've touched through the Feeding America program, where we've collectively raised $27 million through the course of our partnership. And as of last week, we've seen over 5,000 of these parties in our system. It's just amazing. So how does Roundup from the Heart program work? We're going to start here with the US. When you refer to these charts, this one is for the US. So the program is year-round with the special product promotions typically between March and August. There are 4 ways that you and your customers can give back through this program. And that's through donations, through bookings, for dollars qualifying for qualifying products sold, which is the cut and seal and the scoop and spread right now, and then rounded up guest orders as straight donations. So for the US, the total fundraiser sales have to be between $200 and $599 under our normal fundraising schedule, and that's for the 10% donation. And then if it's over $600, 15% is then donated. And the bookings from Roundup from the Heart parties give the organization an additional $3. And then in Canada, it's a really similar structure for the Food Banks Canada. If you want, here it shows you the breakdown, and again, this will be in the resources that we provide. These are the slides that we will share with you, and it's also found on our Consultants Corner, since we're going through this a little quickly. All right, so moving on to Help with Cancer and Hope Lodge. Funds raised in the US support the American Cancer Society and their network of Hope Lodges. Hope Lodges help support cancer patients and their caregivers by providing them a safe place to stay while they receive treatment. In a few minutes, I'm going to share how Hope Lodge has shifted its efforts to support a different at-risk group during the COVID-19 pandemic. And funds raised through the Help with Cancer parties in Canada support the Breast Cancer Society of Canada. So how does the Hope Lodge program work? The Hope Lodge program is typically promoted in May in the US. So again, this is our normal fundraising schedule. And there are 3 ways you and your customers can give back through this program. For this one, it's donations, bookings, and dollars per product sold. And in the US, the product is the mix and chop. So here you'll see the total fundraiser sales have 3 different variants. So $200 to $299 is 15%, $300 to $499 is 20%, and $500 and more is 25%. And then this is the Canada schedule. You can stay there, Kylie. This is the Canada normal fundraising schedule with those dollar amounts. And also the difference with the Help with Cancer program in Canada is the products. Here we have the pink and white Twix-It clips and the pink cake tester. All right. So those again were the normal fundraising schedules. So what's new this month with fundraisers? So before we move on, I want to take a moment and let you know that we know that these aren't typical times. Now more than ever, we want to be there for each other and make a meaningful difference in our communities. And as you know, we've started doubling the donations for Feeding America and Food Banks Canada back in March. And last week, it was announced that not only are we going to continue to double those donations through the end of April, but we're extending it through the end of May. And in the US, our partners at the American Cancer Society are making an important change, and we'll be pivoting with them. Hope Lodges are shifting their focus this spring to support our medical community heroes, and so is Pampered Chef. In Canada, our Help with Cancer program will launch early, and we're increasing our contributions to mirror what we are already doing for the Roundup from the Heart program. So let's review Roundup from the Heart changes from now until the newly extended date of May 31st. We will be doubling the donations from qualifying parties up to 30% of guest sales totals. We will be doubling the donations amount from the bookings from a Roundup from the Heart party. So in the US, that will be $3, from $3 to $6. And then from both qualifying products sold and the Roundup guest totals are going to stay the same. So it's still $1 for every cut and seal and scoop and spread sold. And then you can always round up the orders at the end. So in Canada, we lost the slides, Kylie.
Hold on one second.
We're back.
Sorry.
Okay.
Are you back? Okay.
Yep. So we can move on to Canada.
Yep.
Which is very similar to the US, just the dollar structure's changed. So you can refer to the chart there. All right, and then for the Hope Lodge COVID-19 fund in the US, we've changed the donation schedule to mirror the structure of Roundup from the Heart. So it's as close as possible, and instead of having 3 donation potentials, now there's only 2, to make it more simplified for you. So we will be increasing donations from qualifying parties up to 30% of guest sales. We will be doubling the donations from the bookings for a Hope Lodge party from $3 to $6 in the US. And we will keep the same $1 per qualifying product sold. And again, in the US, that's the mix and chop. And then for the breakdown for Help with Cancer, which is the program for Canada, is a little different than the normal schedule, but again, is closely mirrored to Roundup from the Heart. So same here, we will be increasing donations from qualifying parties up to 30% of guest sales. We will be doubling donations from the amount of bookings from Help with Cancer parties from $4 to $8 in Canada. And we will keep the same $1 per qualifying product sold. So it's still the same 2 Help with Cancer products.
Okay, great. I'm going to just turn my camera back on. All right, so now let's take a few minutes to look at the key differences between fundraiser parties and other types of parties for both the host and the consultant. All right, so one key difference between a fundraiser and other party types is that fundraiser chairpersons do not receive full host benefits. Instead, the profits from the party go toward the organization. But the host is still eligible to purchase the monthly host special and receives the 10% past host discount for the following year as a special thank you for the partnership. Now, how does this commission structure work for consultants? For most party types, consultants receive a minimum of 20% commission based on your career plan and total commissionable sales. For fundraiser commissions, consultants get a 15% commission based on party sales. If you've reached and exceeded that $15,000 US or $17,000 Canadian cumulative sales total, your commission is then 17% on fundraisers. Now, another question that we get sometimes is, do these sales count toward your overall sales goals and toward your reward opportunities? And yes, they do. So fundraiser parties do count toward sales promotions, incentive trips, and so on. And if you're a new consultant, they can also help you earn your fast track rewards. So you can learn more about fast track rewards and the career plan in Dash. So for all you new consultants that have joined us today, fundraisers are really a great option to help you launch your business. Now we're going to take a couple minutes and look at how to actually set up fundraisers in the system. First of all, the steps that, as a refresher, for those of you who are just joining, all these step-by-steps can be found in Dash as well. And we are recording this, we'll play back this, send you a playback of this webinar later on. But you can find the fundraiser training in Dash by going to party training. If you have completed the virtual or in-person party training in Dash, then, and you don't see the fundraiser task for some reason, go ahead and search for it in the search bar or reach out to the Dash inbox by clicking Contact Us in the toolbar on the left. It'll take you step by step through what we're going to cover today. So now we're going to jump into the website and actually give you a live demo of how to set up a fundraiser in your consultant tools. Okay, so it's really very simple. In parties and orders, you're going to create a party. And then we're all choosing virtual right now, right? At other times, you might choose an in-person or catalog fundraiser, but for our purposes today is virtual fundraisers. And then you see you have this additional option of fundraiser right here on this radio button. So you click that. You notice that when you click that, the fields on the page change for you to accommodate the fundraiser setup. Now for organization, if you are using one of our partner organizations, such as Feeding America, Food Banks Canada, Hope Lodge, then you'll select it from the drop-down menu. When you select the one of our partner organizations, we automatically make a donation, mail a check to that organization, and there's no further information that you need to add at that point. Okay, so it's kind of a no-brainer if you're doing that. So if I were to select Hope Lodge and set this up, the check will automatically be cut and distributed to Hope Lodge. I don't need to do anything else. Now, if you're hosting or setting up an organization besides one of our partner organizations, then you're going to choose Other. And in that case, you're going to choose the fundraiser organization, and it must be made out to an organization name, as Danny mentioned earlier. It cannot be an individual person. It has to be an organization or a fund. And if you have it, this is where you'd enter that employer identification number, that 501c3 number, if you happen to have it. And I believe in Canada, this is not a field that that you may need to fill in. In either case, as long as you have a donation, as long as you have an organization entered here, you will be fine. Now, one more thing to know. If I were setting up a fundraiser that's a Hope Lodge or Feeding America, one of the partner organizations, then I would just set up the host, shipping information to go to the host. If I'm setting up another organization, we are going to use this address here to where we're going to send the check. So you'll want to make sure that you follow the directions that we give you in Dash. Again, we cover all of this in that Dash task, and you'll find it in the Training Online and Consultants Corner as well. So for our purposes today, let's set up a Hope Lodge. We're going to choose our the date that the fundraiser starts, and it defaults to 1 week after. We're going to choose our host name. And enter the host information here. And then here's something else to be aware of. You know, when you are entering the name of the party, you have a lot of marketing potential here. The party name is actually very important because this is where you're setting the tone of the party. You're telling people what they're being invited to. So we default to Pampered Chef Party. But if I were doing a fundraiser, I would put something like Holly's Hope Lodge virtual fundraiser, so that when guests are invited to the party, they know exactly what it is from the title on the page. Your host and the party page link automatically are generated for you. And one other thing that I would put here would be my event link. The event link is what I'm going to copy and paste from the Facebook group or event that I set up. We're going to walk you through what that looks like in a couple minutes. So what you're doing with a virtual fundraiser is you're linking together what you're setting up in the system in Consultants Corner with what you're doing online in Facebook. And so here I'm entering that group event or group number here. And when I create the party, what I'll see is a side-by-side preview of what my guest is going to see when they go online. So the way that this works is, now that I've entered all the date, type, host information, all of that, it's already in the party. And it also will appear over here. If you're not familiar with how this works, this is a side-by-side preview of what your guest sees when they're invited to the party. So what we do here is whatever I enter on this side of the column, I see reflected here, and this shows me a preview of what my customers are going to see when they visit that party page to place their order, to find out more information, and they can also join the party on Facebook through here. So when I entered that Facebook event, remember how I copied and pasted that group or event link from Facebook? It also appears right here. So do you see that not only do I have a Shop Now button and all the information to invite the person to the party, but I have a Facebook event page here. So they could connect right to the Facebook event right from the party invite, okay? All right, so something else I'd like to show you about setup that's important is the theme. Now it defaulted to my theme, which is probably the last theme that I used in the system. But when I go into edit here, I can scroll through and pick Fundraiser. When I go to Fundraiser, I'm actually seeing the last Fundraiser template that I set up. When you go to Fundraiser for the first time, you'll see whatever information home office set up for you as a placeholder and in a template for you, but you can also customize that. So you don't have to start from scratch. Honestly, if I were to just pick Fundraiser and send the invites, or excuse me, and save, I'd be all set up with this party. But then you can further customize it here as well. One more thing to know about when you're setting up the theme, again, what you're doing here is you're setting up the theme page of what customers are going to see when they get that party invite. If I go in the theme cover photo to replace, I'll see other fundraiser options up here. So I have a Hope Lodge image selected because that's the one that I was setting up earlier. But I could also select any of these to match what I'm doing, such as Feeding America and Help with Cancer. So that's how you set up your party page. When you're done, you pick save, and then you'll see here what your customer is going to see when they go on their phone. All right. So now that you know, oh, I'm sorry, there's one other thing. One other thing I want to show you. I also, while we were in Consultant's Corner, I know you just lost my screen here. I'm not sure why it did that.
Haley, while you're pulling that up, I saw a few questions about the difference between Feeding America and the disaster relief option when you're in Consultant's Corner. And that's really for us on the back end to know to increase the donations right now during the disaster relief. So because we have two options, if you accidentally choose the regular Feeding America, we will, right now during this time period, we will increase those donations.
All right. Thank you, Danny. And we're getting our slide. We have a gremlin apparently in my computer today, so. Does that ever happen to any of you? All right.
Another question I can address right now that I've seen is if you want to choose a local food bank, that would, right now, it would be considered an organizational option. So Feeding America is for the nationwide networks. Same thing for Food Banks Canada. If you want to do a local food bank directly, you would have to choose an organizational fundraiser.
And Danny, one more question that's coming in that I thought you could answer while Kylie's getting her screen back is, sometimes there are a lot of specific questions coming in the Q&A about a particular type of organization, right? A question on, does this organization qualify or does this organization qualify? What would you recommend to anyone who has those questions about whether or not their organization of choice qualifies?
Great. Yep. So the biggest thing to look for is to make sure that those organizations in the U.S. are 501c3 verified organizations and that they have an EIN number. So you would work directly with the organization. They should have that information readily available. If they don't, then you would probably need to question whether or not they are going to be able to go through our system as a fundraiser. And in Canada, it's the same thing. Work directly with those organizations to make sure that they are a charitable organization.
Great.
Are you seeing my screen right now on the marketing imagery?
Yep.
Excellent. All right. Thank you for that. All right. So let's go ahead and show you, continue our tour of Consultants Corner a little bit further and show you what other resources you have to set up your parties, which is very important for virtual parties in particular, which is marketing imagery. So in marketing imagery, there are two key things that we'd like to point out for you today. The first one is the Plan a Party. The Plan a Party page helps you to structure your party. So if you are newer to virtual parties, we really recommend that you use this one of these outlines. We have some that are specifically for fundraisers. And if you are new, there's a resource right here that you can click, that you can download to help you really plan out your specific party. So we really recommend those resources if you're just getting started with virtual parties. And the other place I'd like to show you in marketing imagery is we have some terrific fundraising resources when you go under fundraising. So you'll see here a really great variety of cover photos, posts, flyers, everything that you need. And you know, by the way, you can send flyers virtually to your hosts as well by adding them as an attachment and sending them, emailing them. You can also share a lot of these out from your phone right through text. So terrific resources for you there in marketing imagery. All right, so now that you are hopefully really excited about doing fundraisers and have some ideas of how to set them up, what we'd like to do is look at how to actually kickstart your virtual business with fundraisers. As Danny said, as of last week, we had over 5,000 fundraisers set up with Pampered Chef. So isn't that so cool? You can be part of that movement as well. Well, why do you think that is? Why are these fundraisers, why are they so popular right now? Well, really think about the fact that you as a Pampered Chef consultant are filling a need that people are looking for right now. People are looking for reasons to get together online, ways to improve their cooking skills, inspiration and ideas for more meals since we're all cooking at home, and they're looking for a happy distraction. Fundraisers give you a reason that is timely and close to many of us to reach out to prospective hosts. It gives hosts another reason to pull their friends and family together for a good cause as well. And of course, as Danny mentioned, the easiest way to get started with fundraisers is to host one yourself. We often find fundraisers booked from other fundraisers. So if you do host your own, lots of people become familiar with that structure and like to host their own as a follow-up. Now let's look at how to actually get these bookings on the calendar. If you attended the Virtual Party 201 Teach Me webinar, the next two slides may be familiar to you. If not, that's another great webinar to learn more about what we're about to cover. To get the word out, try these three things. Post on social media, like Facebook newsfeed, Instagram, or in your VIP group if you have one. We'll look at a few words to say shortly. Second, make your contacts. In our Bookings Teach Me webinar, Steve Drapolsky recommended aiming for 35 contacts a week. You know, that's just 5 contacts a day. Create a list of about 35 people you'd like to share this idea with. Then finally, market this opportunity in any of your existing parties as well. So let's look at how to share about fundraisers in social media. First, share that you are hosting a fundraiser party. You can post this on your personal Facebook page, on your Facebook business page, on Instagram, or in a VIP group. Here's an example of what you could say. Hey friends, I'm really excited to share that I'm hosting a Pampered Chef fundraiser for Feeding America right here on Facebook. You'll get a chance to learn some tips for mealtime wins, hello cooking from your pantry tips, ideas for getting your kids in the kitchen, and have a positive place to hang out online. I can't wait to share with you all my mealtime tips. Party starts April 13th. Let me know if you're interested, and I'll get you added to the group. Now, let's look at another thing that's important, which is you're leading with what's in it for the customer. Notice that I mentioned the chance to learn pantry cooking tips, kids' ideas, which I'm sure you're hearing lots of customers that are looking for that right now, and just having a positive place to hang out online. Also, I asked guests to let me know if you're interested in. The goal is to get your contacts engaging with the host or you. The more that your contacts engage, the more visibility this post will get in other people's news feeds too. I can send them a message directly. I can thank them for being interested, and I can send them a link to get started. You can also add this link to comments. Now you can post this once you have the party set up, but then post again as a reminder before the party starts to get more guests added to the party that you're hosting. So now we've looked at some ways to engage with people. Let's look at some additional words that you might like to use. Here are some words that other consultants have used to successfully book parties, fundraiser parties. I invite you to think about hosting a Feeding America fundraiser. Many families are going to depend on the food banks for their next meal. An online fundraising party helps to support the food banks partnered with Feeding America. Plus, you and your friends will learn about recipes and cooking tools that help everyone make this time a bit easier. Another consultant shared with us that they had said these words. Today, people are experiencing isolation, but online parties provide a fun distraction. I'd love to help you and your friends learn some easy recipes to make from your pantry, and we could raise money for a good cause at the same time. Sorry about that. I didn't click for you to read it. I'll give you just a moment if you're looking at that one. Okay, so those are things that you can post on Facebook or Instagram, other social media channels. Let's look at one other way that you can engage with your contacts, and that's to send a CCE. I'm just doing a time check. How are we on time? Okay, good. Very quickly, I'd like to show you another way to engage with people, which is in Consultants Corner. You go to My Contacts. So for instance, if you have people that aren't on Facebook a lot, but you'd like to invite them to virtual parties or get them started with virtual parties, you can go to My Contacts. You can select the customers that you'd like to market this idea to, and then you click here, Send Customer Connection Email. And when you go there, you'll see that we have a fundraiser template that is all ready to go for you. Okay, so those are some ways to generate bookings. So now that you've generated interest and excitement and have booked some parties, let's take just a couple minutes to look at the ways to set them up on social media for success. First, on your Facebook group or event page, choose a cover photo from marketing imagery to set the tone. Second, in your first post, which will be the announcement, introduce the host, the cause, and the ordering link. Again, that's that party page link that we created earlier. This we'll show you how to do that on the next slide. Third, click these three dots right here. That's called the More menu. And that's going to allow you to set the post as an announcement. That will make it stay at the very top of the party the whole time, so every guest sees it and has easy access to ordering. Now, remember that party page that we set up a couple minutes ago? We're pulling it all together, right? So earlier we set up the page in Consultants Corner. We've created the Facebook group. This is the link that I'm going to grab. Once I've set up a group or an event, I just simply go to the very top of the page, I grab that URL, and that's what I'm going to put here in that event link in Consultants Corner. And that's what makes sure that your guests can easily link to the party and from the Facebook party back to the ordering link. All right. And with that, I'd like to turn it back over to Danny.
Great, thanks, Kylie. All right, so getting guests excited to support the cause. So let's say you have a fundraiser party ready to go, either with a host or you're self-hosting. You've set it up, you're getting guests invited and into the party. Now what? How do you get them rallied together and excited to be a part of a cause that you're supporting? Your guests won't know what to get excited about if you don't tell them. So it's really up to you and your host, if you're working with one, to create awareness through multiple touch points. Here are 4 ideas to use to generate awareness and excitement. First, start with the invite. Work with your host to help craft an invitation that gives guests enough information about the fundraiser to want to be a part of helping the cause. And if you're not working with a host, if you're self-hosting this, maybe it's your first party as a Pampered Chef consultant, this is your job to do too. Then work with your host to set a goal for the party. You can set goals on the amount you want to raise, what that equals in sales, and how many bookings you'd like to generate from the party. Then you want to share that passion throughout the party. Start with your announcement post and keep it up throughout the party. From quick Facebook Lives to marketing imagery posts and having the host get involved, there are a variety of ways to keep communications exciting and motivating. And remember, even though you're seeing all the posts, your guests may not see every single post. So it's really important to be repetitive here. And be sure to let guests know about the goal progress. When guests see that you're making progress, they'll be more inclined to place their orders and be a part of the movement. And as always, make sure to thank your guests for their orders and for being a part of the cause. You can do this however it suits you, by individual posts, goal meeting posts, or big thank you at the end. And if you see my examples here, you can even lump them together so you don't have to post multiple times. You can put the goal progress together with that thank you. Get creative. All right. So what will you do? We've covered a lot of information today, and we hope that you're inspired to go out there and use fundraisers to build your business. So let's take a moment to think about what you will do based on what you've learned today. So first, get a piece of paper, your online notepad, or use the chat section here. We want to know, what is one thing you learned today that you will do immediately? I'm going to open up the chat, see what's coming in.
Thanks for sharing, Patricia, that you're inspired. That's wonderful. We're happy to hear that. We can't wait to see what you do with this.
Fantastic. Yes, sharing the goal. It's really important to share that goal so you can feel personally connected to that as a guest.
Good. Looks like some people are going to be sending out that CCE that's all set up for you.
Wonderful.
Great way to get the word out.
Fantastic. All right. So continue with those answers. We love that. And then second, what was the one thing you learned today that you never thought of before, but will try it with your business? How will you use these fundraiser tips, or just fundraisers in general, to help boost your business? Just starting fundraisers, fantastic. CCEs, love it. Yeah, it's really fun when you can use, you know, social media to host these parties, but also you can use email, you can use text messages, other methods to get people into the party. All right, these are wonderful. And then what is something you want to learn more about? And I think we can use that to really just jump right into the Q&A, Kylie, because I can see that it's hopping over there. And hopefully we can answer some of those questions for you. So Jackie and Libby, are there any questions that we should address first?
Yeah, one question. Great job sharing so many details on fundraisers. So I know there's a lot of specific questions coming in. So we'll try to answer as many as we can here at this time. One question that's coming in is, after the fundraiser, how can we find out how much was raised? How can we share that? So if you want to talk about that a little bit, I've seen various questions come in throughout the webinar on this.
Great. Kylie, are you able to answer that on the consultant tools?
Yeah, you know, I'm trying to remember if, I know that in your there's a report that you can run in Consultant Corner that tells you about what guests are contributing the most. I believe there's one that you can run in Consultants Corner about contributions as well. And then the other thing that you do is you can, before everything is submitted, you can also just do that percentage for yourself. I think a lot of consultants will reach out to their hosts and the organization and they'll do the quick math, and they know if it's 30% of the total, they'll be able to say, even before everything is processed, oh my goodness, we just raised X amount for this organization. So that's another way that you can do that.
Yep, and I actually just, the examples I showed you were actually from a fundraiser party I just ran, and that's what I did along the way, was I ran the quick math so that I could keep updating my guests with the goal. All right.
So Danny and Kylie, I see there is a lot of questions regarding maybe just what you had shared about setting up the party in Facebook. And so I think there's questions about if you can add the URL to the party after you set it up, before you set it up. I think that there's just some technical questions around
that. That's great. I'll tell you, that's a tricky one to train, because our system is so flexible that we know, as a consultant, there's lots of different ways you work. So there's not only one path. You can either set up the party first in Consultants Corner and then go back and set up the Facebook page and add that link later. Or you can set up the page in Facebook first, grab that link here, and add it to the party when you're setting up the party. So that's a very good question. And that's why we wanted to show you how these two link together, is that they're just really interconnected, but there's not only one way to do it. It really depends. It'll accommodate whatever order of things you're doing as a consultant. So if you set up the party first, the great thing about that is then you can take this party page link, and you can take that party page link, and that's what you're going to add to your Facebook post. If you set up the Facebook group first, then you can pop it in here. But I'd say in either case, you can see that Facebook group and your party page work very closely together. So you're going to have a little bit of setup between both of them to connect them together. But it's really great for your guests then, because when they go to that party page or the invitation, everything's right there for them. And when they go to Facebook, the party link is there.
Yep. And the one thing I want to add on to this too, I know there are a lot of consultants who do a lot of their partying from their phones, and you're using the Facebook app. So this isn't very professional, but I'm going to try my best to show you on mine. There is a little admin tool if you set up a group, and if you press that, there's a share option. You're not going to be able to see it, but when you press that little admin badge, you click share, and then it says copy link, and that's how you get the link on the mobile app. So there's definitely a way to do it on desktop and on mobile.
Good tip, Danny.
Yep.
Another question that has come in a lot is, can you share, Danny, if someone doesn't want to purchase but they want to donate, what is the process for that?
Yes, so, and Kylie, correct me if I'm wrong here, but what we've seen is that there's actually quite a few people who have asked to donate directly. So you can advise guests or interested parties to donate directly to the cause. So through our parties, there's no way to donate directly unless you round up at the end.
And I'd say that that's probably a little easier to make a straight cash donation to Round Up from the Heart than it is for the Hope Lodge or Help with Cancer. Yep. Because what a guest could do is purchase a very small item, like let's say a season's best. Mm-hmm. And then if they wanted to make a $50 donation, what they would do then is just, if their total with shipping and everything came to $725, they could round up to $57.25 and make a larger cash donation that way. So sometimes we see people donating that way when they want to just make a straight cash donation.
Yep. Another question I'm going to answer quickly is one I keep seeing pop up. What is a CCE? That's a customer connection email. So for you new consultants, those are ways that you can send emails to your customers through our consultant tools.
Dan and Kylie, another question that keeps coming in is specifically on product donations. So if you just want to cover again as a reminder, the products sold that are creating donations for Feeding America or Hope Lodge right now.
Yeah.
People asking, are they pink? Are they black? If I sell one of the products in a party, does it go to the other fundraiser? So if you want to cover that real quick, it'll probably answer a lot of questions.
Sure. So a great place that you can actually see the products and find out about them is also in marketing imagery. So we have social posts for all of the products so you can see what they are. The Mix and Chop is regular Mix and Chop for the Hope Lodge program. And for all of the products associated with these programs, it's $1 donated per product sale. So in Canada with Help of Cancer, there's the two pink products, which are the pink Twix-It clips and the pink, I'm blanking on the other one. There was another pink one. Pardon me, but it's the two pink products. So, and then for the Roundup from the Heart program, we have the Scoop and Spread and the Cut and Seal. Thank you, the cake tester, the pink cake tester. I appreciate it. So every product sold across the programs, it's $1 donated to our partner programs. Now, let's say I'm running a Roundup from the Heart fundraiser and somebody buys a Mix and Chop. The Mix and Chop dollar will still be donated back to either the Hope Lodge or Mix and Chop Hope Lodge program. But the sales, the total sales associated with it will go to the party, and that will be increased for the fundraiser donation. So it's kind of hitting both areas because it's a product. I probably didn't explain that very well, but basically $1 per product sold is associated with that organization, and the sales count toward your party total donation.
And so I'm seeing a clarifying question coming in from Betsy on that. So yes, they buy the product, they get the product. So if it's a Mix and Chop, they get the Mix and Chop, but $1 is just a straight dollar instead of going to Pampered Chef, goes to the organization.
Correct. Yes, the customer gets the product. They're buying it for themselves.
Yeah, someone said double dipping in the best way.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Great way to phrase it.
Yeah.
All right.
The thing that we should answer is, I think there's still a lot of questions regarding where the funds go to for Feeding America, and then how does funds go to a local food bank?
Great. I am happy to clarify that. Yes. So with Feeding America and Food Banks Canada, anytime you do our partner program fundraisers, the funds raised will go to its network of food banks. So it is spread across the nations through the network of food banks. If you want to raise funds directly for a food bank right next door to you, you would set that up as an organizational fundraiser to ensure that they get those funds. Otherwise, through our programs, we are not able to choose the direct food bank for the funds. All right, what?
Are there other questions?
Yeah,
go ahead, Libby.
I was going to say there's a few questions as well, just in general about setting up parties and virtual parties. So of course we have a number of consultants probably on this call that might be relatively new either to Pampered Chef or to virtual parties. And so I've been trying to answer them and send them to the right locations in Dash and otherwise. But Danny, if you wanted to share, Danny or Kylie, your recommendations on if you're new to Pampered Chef or trying to understand more about fundraisers and virtual parties, what do you recommend?
Absolutely. So I would really recommend you start with Dash. Get into Dash, start the virtual party training. You actually have to take party training in order to unlock the fundraiser training. So the best way to go through it is to take the training, but you also don't need to follow through with the training before you start booking your parties. You want to work on those simultaneously. So start the training, either schedule your launch party. You can actually use a fundraiser as your virtual launch party, kind of kill two birds with one stone there. And it really helps rally the guests together to want to support you and support a cause. But the training is really going to be one of the best places to start. And also, if you have a team and you are in a team group on Facebook, ask other tenured consultants what they're doing. You know, we've all been through it. We want to know tips from consultants who have made this work for them. That way you can kind of learn and do at the same time. And you'll actually learn a lot by doing. And then I know I've seen questions about a few of them on the host rewards and the consultant commissions. Would you mind going back to those, the host slide, Kylie?
Sure.
So it's important to know that for fundraisers, there are different host rewards. And here we go. And this is going to be included with the resource that we'll post with the replay. But basically with fundraisers, hosts still get the monthly host special. So usually that's our 60% off whatever the product is. Right now it's our quick cooker and blender. And then you get a 10% pass discount and a future party pick currently. So that's different from the standard where you would also get the free product value, the half price items, and product discounts. So instead of having those, that's how we're able to donate generously to these different funds. So let's say you are a consultant and you are self-hosting a fundraiser, you would also be the host, so that monthly host special, that would apply to you as the host as well. And then can you go to the next slide again? I saw a few questions about the commission structure. So with fundraisers, the typical, the commission for fundraisers is 15%, unless you've hit your career sales goal of 15,000 in the US and 20,000 in Canada. So that's different from our typical commission structure for non-fundraiser parties. So nothing has changed here with our increased donations that we're running right now.
A common question we're hearing is a lot of people are asking, like, do you absolutely right now have to be running a fundraiser party through Facebook? What if someone doesn't have a Facebook profile? How can I get them to participate in the party?
Yeah, that's a great question.
That's a great question. So there are a few things that you can do. The focus for this one is the virtual parties because that's the most common setup that we see. But there are other things you could do too. Some of our consultants are doing live parties through Zoom, through a free Zoom account, and you could share a Zoom link with people and share the party link, the party page, and have them join a demo, have them join a live demo and learn about things that way. You can still do a catalog fundraiser. So if you're interested in doing a fundraiser and you really don't have people that are on Facebook, you can still send a host packet, drop off a host packet with catalogs and order forms, and you would still just set it up the same way in Consultants Corner. So if this is something that is interesting to you, definitely you can find other ways to do it in not in an in-person way that still support the cause.
And then additionally, if you have a host who is on Facebook or wants to do Zoom, you also want to encourage them to get orders outside of the party. So not every party guest needs to be on Facebook or however the party is being run. The most successful parties have orders coming in from outside the party. So it doesn't hurt to always tell your host that.
Another question that I just saw somebody sent in about this is just related. Say, so what about 15-minute parties through texting? That might not be, it's not something we have time to go into fully here. You can ask other consultants about it if you're not familiar with the idea. But yes, you can actually you could have a virtual party where somebody, you set up the link and then your host shares the link with her or his friends through text. And and then invites people that way, and then they can go on that way and shop. So there's really lots of ways to do it. So that was a great ad. Thank you.
We
Yeah.
have 1 minute left.
Yeah, I think maybe one last question. I've seen a few of these come in throughout the course of the webinar, which was, I don't know if I set mine up correctly on the first one I tried, or can I change the address once I have the organization set up? So Kylie, I think that's a question for you, Consultant Tools. Once you set up one of these fundraiser parties, how much can you edit or not edit?
You can edit everything. So I'll say that's new, for those of you who've been with us a long time, that's newer in our system. But with the new party tools, you can change these details at any time. So don't worry, don't sweat it if there's something you missed. Again, that recap is in Dash. We show you step by step how to set up a fundraiser party for any kind of organization you're working with. And you can always go and edit it in Consult's Corner. That's no problem.
Great. Well, thank you. Thank you for all the questions. Thank you for being so active as participants. Again, we know this was a lot of information to cover, so we are going to be posting the replay. Zoom will send you the replay in an email, but check back on the STIR by tomorrow. And we also will have the resources with the fundraising scheduling funds posted with the replay in the STIR as well. So thank you so much, and we hope this helps you kickstart your business and get going with fundraisers. Thank you.
All right. Thanks to Libby and Jackie for helping us man the questions today too.
Yes.
All right. Good luck, everybody. Enjoy.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.